Hello everybody, I hope you're all having a great Sunday or whatever day that you end up watching this on. I was scrolling through MMA, Instagram, MMA, Twitter as of late, and I saw something very interesting that Cejudo was talking about. And Cejudo is, listen, as much as I like to troll Cejudo every once in a while, okay? He brought up something that I've been wondering myself. He was talking about Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya doing the Trilogy, which has been something, like, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Adesanya versus Pereira 3 in MMA is a fight that has to happen. I don't care what the UFC says. I don't care what cope Dana White has to bring up in order to protect Israel from the Trilogy. It needs to happen before they retire. And, like, in my mind, 2 years. That is the max amount of time I'm going to give you. Pereira versus Adesanya 3 has to happen at some point. And Cejudo was talking about it. But Cejudo threw in something at the very end that I think is very interesting. And he said, Pereira can go down the 185 to fight Israel if Israel has the belt. Or Israel can go up to 205 to fight Pereira for the 205 belt if he still has it. That's interesting. Because we have never had anybody in the UFC who has had a belt in a heavier weight class go down a weight class to win a belt. Every single double champion that we have ever had, whether simultaneously or whether they've won 2 belts at 2 separate times, they have all won a belt in a lighter weight class and then went up. Conor McGregor, 145 to 155. Daniel Cormier was light heavyweight, then went up to heavyweight. I'm aware that he had like a heavyweight fight, but he was a light heavyweight champion first and then became a heavyweight champion. Amanda Nunes is the only one that, like, he was a champion lighter, went up, so he could, you know, back and forth, because nobody was in women's featherweight. Nobody has ever gone from a heavier weight class down to a lighter weight class, and that's what makes this interesting. And Pereira, all credit to Pereira here, Pereira has hinted at going back down the 185, not even to fight Israel. He wants to fight Dricus. He wants one more fight at 185. We know this because after the Strickland fight, Alex Pereira, who was training Strickland for that bout against Dricus du Plessis, tweeted out right after that, one less ride down the 185 ? That is what he tweeted out, and that was a very interesting thing. Dricus was talking about how he would like to fight Alex Pereira at 205 or at 185, it doesn't really matter. Dricus is game. Dricus is game for whatever fight. I don't think he's going to pull some weird contract bullshit. I like that. I need that to be a thing, because a lot of people will look at that and be like, Alex Pereira is being a weight bully going back down the 185 to pick on these smaller guys. First off, let me just tell you this real quick. When I'm doing, like, any type of, like, grappling, okay? If I'm ever looking at somebody in a bracket that was competing in a heavier weight class and comes down, that is more difficult. I am not as scared of that guy. Because, yes, weight bully, but guess what? The heavier weight classes aren't as skilled. That is across all combat sports. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, unless you're Gable Stevenson. Unless you're him, unless you're Gordon Ryan, in that case, then that goes out the window. The lighter weight classes are always going to be more difficult than the heavier weight classes. That's across just about every combat sport on the planet. So if Alex Pereira wants to go down to a tougher weight class, compromising his chin, because, spoiler alert, when you start cutting weight, the first thing that's going to go is your chin, because less water in your skull, you're going to be more amped to get knocked unconscious. It's going to be easier for you to get KO'd. Like, watch the Israel Adesanya fight. Israel Adesanya KO'd him flat unconscious. 3 months later, he was able to go 3 rounds with Polish power Jan Blachowicz. Was able to take strikes from Yuri Prohaska. I'm aware he didn't get touched by Jamal Hill. I think Jamal Hill had the power to put down Alex, but Alex Pereira, I mean, we saw what happened. Alex Pereira went up to 205 because of that reason. That is a tough weight cut. And Alex Pereira is a massive human being. I have no clue what they're feeding him in the favelas. What food are you affording to feed this behemoth of a human being? I thought you came from a poor family. What boar protein are you feeding him? Like, I know he's not on juice. You want to know why? Because 100% he can't afford it. I mean, now he can, but, like, dog, he was an alcoholic at 15. He wasn't getting no damn juice. But, sidetrack out of the way, side tangent. Israel Adesanya laid out his plan, okay? And that's why I'm ultimately making this video instead of just doing it into a TikTok or a short. Because Israel Adesanya laid out a plan. And guess who was missing from that plan? Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira was not in that plan at all. Let me tell you what Israel's plan is. Israel's plan, and listen, it sounds like I'm giving Israel shit. It's actually a pretty good plan. He wants to take the belt from Dricus du Plessis at UFC 305. Again, kind of confirming that 305 is going to be the card that they're going to do it. Take the belt from Dricus du Plessis, and then he wants to end the hype train of Khamzat Chimaev, or end the winner of Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. That lines up, and he wants to do that by the end of the year. I have said all the stuff about Israel Adesanya. He is one of the most, if not the most active champion in UFC history. The only time where I've kind of like poked jabs at it is people wanted to make the argument that Israel Adesanya was more active than Strickland. Strickland fought on 2 separate main events, 5-round fight night main events, in December and January. Strickland's the only dude that Israel isn't more active than. That's just a fact. And they fought a lot of the same people. Jared Cannonier, Alex Pereira, they share a lot of the same opponents. They're both active. That's the only reason that I've poked fun at Israel Adesanya for that. As a champion, incredibly active. And then, after he beats Khamzat Chimaev, in his mind, he wants to fight Strickland. He wants to get the rematch with Strickland, prove that it was a fluke, and then go off into retirement. He says there's only 3 more fights left in him, and he's done. That is according to Israel. And all I'm going to say here, I like that he wants to fight Khamzat. I like that. In the Strickland fight, listen, you got to get that rematch back. All I'm saying is this. Say there's a scenario where Israel Adesanya can try to achieve something that we know in his career he has tried before and failed, and that is that double champ status. He is already the 2nd greatest middleweight to ever live and could potentially beat out Anderson Silva. The easiest way to do that would be to avenge the loss to Strickland. We got it. We have to do that. And become a double champion over Alex Pereira. The reason the 205 versus the 185 argument is very interesting is because a 205 fight between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya is very interesting because I would give Adesanya credit for doing it. Because, I'm sorry, Alex Pereira at 205 is a death sentence for 99% of strikers. But Alex Pereira going down the 185, I got to admire the cojones on that, because you're going to go down to a weight class against a dude who rocked you in the first fight you had, finished you in the second fight you had at that weight class, and you're decided, Shama, I'll fight him. I got to admire that. Alex Pereira doesn't give a shit. He'll go down the 185 to fight Israel, but Israel Adesanya is the one that hasn't said anything about fighting Alex Pereira. All I'm saying, if Israel Adesanya does become champion, I want the trilogy. I don't care who's going up a weight class, going down a weight class. I don't care if it's at 185. I don't care if it's at 205. All I'm saying is here, whoever is going to do the courtesy of leaving their weight class to fight the other champion, whether it's Pereira going down or Adesanya going up, they are immediately the more badass guy. I don't want to hear this. The reason I'm making this video is for one, the stuff that Israel said in this sentiment right here. I want to stop this right now. If Pereira goes down the 185, I don't want to hear this argument that, oh, Alex Pereira's a weight bully. He's going down to 185 to pick on these little middleweights. Nobody's looked at Israel Adesanya and called that boy little. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's calling Dricus little. Dricus is a massive human being. Alex Pereira is going to hurt his own chances at winning if he goes down a weight class. Israel Adesanya hurts his chances of winning if he goes up a weight class. It's the same thing. That is why every single double champion you ever seen in this sport is somebody who is from a lighter weight class going up and not a heavier weight class going down. Unless you're Amanda Nunes. But women's MMA is a completely different thing. But there you go. I just want to rant about that. I want the trilogy, and I think the only way that we're going to get it is if Israel Adesanya beats Dricus du Plessis, beats Khamzat, and I can see the UFC sidestepping Strickland, making Strickland fight Dricus, and in the meantime, they're going to do Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira for a super fight early 2025. That is my prediction if Alex Pereira can be champion and beat Magomed Ankalaev. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Do you want it at 205? Do you want it at 185? And who do you think wins, Pereira or Adesanya, in the trilogy bout to end it all? Tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you all for watching, and adios, guys.